All right. Welcome, everybody, to Problem Solver Politics. We are live in the KHTS studio with a big show planned out tonight. Before we get anywhere, my name is Cardon Ellis. I'll be your host today with...
This is Mark Murphy, representing the party of compassion, the Democrats who will bring you humility and compromise. What choice do we have?
Okay, we got to work on our intro. We got to work on that, because that insinuates that I'm Republican, which is kind of a hazy area. Okay, cool. So check this out, my man. We've got a huge show today, guys. Problem Solver Politics, as you know, we are dedicated to truth, reason, facts, and getting the story and the situation straight. We are going to have a shotgun round today of at least, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 or 9 candidates for city council. We have a hotly contested 25th district congressional race, but we also have a hotly contested city council election coming up with some really good candidates. This is going to be a rock'em sock'em election day. So before we jump into this, we've got in the studio Senkelp Bivarma. I'm probably botching that pronunciation.
No, you nailed it. That's perfect.
I nailed it? All right.
It's a common name. I know. It's a real common name.
It's a common name.
There's probably 2-3 Senkelps that showed up today anyways.
All right, so we got Senkelp in the studio. Later on, we're going to have Sean Weber, Marsha McLean, Ken Dean, Logan Smith, and Joe Messina all giving their 2 cents worth about the election and why we should vote for them. We also have a statement from our mayor, the incumbent, Laureen West, who's also running. So we got a second hour today. It's going to be really cool. Get the story straight by just sticking here for the next hour. We're going to have some really good conversations. Before we go, though, I just want to remind everybody, I believe this is the 8th time I've said it on air. It is now 8:07 with 38 seconds. There is no blue wave coming. There is no blue wave coming.
He is colorblind, but that's okay.
Yes, okay. The reason why I say that is there has been massive hysteria. I'm reading the New York Times, which is tracking our district, because they are a leftist organization by now. We should just admit it. But
owned by a Republican organization.
Yeah, okay. And the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I got a lot of knuckleheads that work for me, and I own my company. I'm not responsible for their political views either. But anyway, I've noticed our media, if we actually look at the stats, an overwhelming majority of broadcasters, about 93%, and of print journalists, about 7 out of 8, all self-identify as Democrat. And to think that, even though they're trying, which I believe many of them are, but to think that our media does not have a left-leaning bias would be absolutely foolish. And that...
Yeah, but the president only talks to Fox, so what difference does it make?
No, well, he talks to more people on his Twitter feed than half the Fox shows even have as a following. So he just kind of bypasses the broadcast media, which I think is actually a strength of his. But anyway, to say that that doesn't bleed into the representation of what is truth and what is reality, we are not handed in our media a correct reporting of what's truly going on. We are handed a rose-colored glass that we are expected to peer through, and I think that leads to a lot of the miscalculations and frustrations with the media. I don't think all media is fake, but I think by fake news, he means hyper-biased news. So this is a bias.
He thinks it's fake news. Let's just get it straight. The guy doesn't know what's up and what's down. He can't tell black from white. We already know that.
That means Hillary lost to somebody who didn't know which way was up, which only makes her loss even
as a
more
matter of
biased.
fact, it's nice to have a minority winning president in the White House.
Okay, so look, basically what I've noticed here is New York Times is hyping Democratic enthusiasm, and I'm putting up air quotes for those that aren't watching on Facebook Live. But they're all talking about Democratic enthusiasm. About 4 weeks ago, there was an 11% advantage of Democratic enthusiasm. That has gone down to 7% now. I actually suspect, and the days leading up to the polling, that it'll actually go down even more. And here's the reason why. I was at family dinner today, and just now, the week of the election, I'm starting to get family members who are asking me, hey, Cardon, you're into politics. Who should I vote for? Right? And let me tell you why this matters. That enthusiasm gap will start going down and will be surpassed ultimately by the same people that voted for Donald Trump the first time, because the day he was elected, Democrats hated Donald Trump. We're never going to give him a chance. We're going to fight him in the, quote, resistance. And they had their vote by mail ballots already figured out. Like they were enthusiastically opposing it from the beginning. Whereas people with jobs and with families that have things to do have not really started getting engaged until, well, guess what? The week of politics. Now
this
they're
is why
starting
we
to
call this media fake news.
No, now they're starting to look up. So that gap, statistically, I'm talking reasons and facts here. That enthusiasm gap, you will slowly start to watch it close in the weeks and days leading up to the election, because the silent majority comes out to vote. The people that are scared to voice their opinions on what they actually believe for fear of being called racist or bigoted or homophobic or whatever you get called, are going to come out. And then the people that, honestly, I hate to say it, but like have had things to do, will start paying attention. And that's why I think no blue wave is coming.
Well, you've already said the Republicans are going to vote in a strong turnout on Wednesday, so I'm looking forward to hearing how they respond on Wednesday.
Okay, well, we're going to have a big fat... Hey, you went to Vegas, from what I understand, with a lady friend, right?
You got to go to Vegas, but what stays in Vegas remains in Vegas.
Okay, but did you put down the money on the Steve Knight election for me?
No, what could I say? I couldn't find it. I didn't.
You're telling me there wasn't a betting house in Vegas. There wasn't.
No betting house there on the politics. They decided just to keep it on other stuff.
Okay, we're going to start a pool live on air here. No, I'm just kidding. All right, hey, we got to move along because we got a great guy in the studio right now. Looks like $1 million. I mean, you look hip, dude.
Thank you very much.
You look like you could just jump out of a TV show. We got Senkalp B. Varma in here. He's running for city council, and I got to tell you, he's got his brother-in-law's band shirt on. All right, and he's got these cool hipster glasses. This guy is the real deal, all right? You know what I'm saying? I almost want you on city council just because you would make our city council look that much cooler.
Make it a little bit hipper.
You know what I'm saying?
Make it a little bit hipper.
Yeah. If Cameron Smythe were Indian, you know what I'm saying? He'd just have the cool jam session with you. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Senkalp, tell us about yourself. Your platform, where you're from, the whole 9 yards.
Well, I've been in Santa Clarita for over 10 years. Leadership is actually what brought me over here.
Leadership?
I started a DVD manufacturing plant in Santa Clarita when I was working in post-production.
Okay.
So,
well, hold on. Okay, so why does it say driver?
Well,
on your,
that's what brought me to Santa Clarita.
Oh, okay.
And while I was at when I started the DVD manufacturing plant, the owner was like, "Here, make this work." So by the time I was done with it, we manufactured over 1 million DVDs. Then the DVD market crashed.
Okay.
So after I had my kid, everything in my life changed. And now I started driving for Uber 3.5 years ago.
Cool. You were an early adopter then.
Well, it gave me the opportunity to really hang out with my kid and spend time with him, but work whenever I want.
Yeah.
And it's a genius little business model. I didn't have to chase people down for money, but it really gave me a real perspective of our community. Every day I'm talking to voters, I'm talking to people within our community, and I see what's missing. And that's what got me to this point, to run for public service, which takes a lot of leadership and guts. I'll be honest with you. It really does take a lot of leadership and guts to be at this level of public service. So, and it was all the stories that I heard, it was all the people that I've given rides to and what's needed, and it finally led me to my platforms.
Wow. Oh, well, hit us. What are they?
Well, the most controversial part of my platform is that there has to be a convenient, safe, reliable place for people to buy medical marijuana in Santa Clarita.
Yes! Yes! We are starting out the show.
Everything.
We are starting out the show with the medical marijuana advocate.
Well, and here's why. I've given too many chemotherapy patient rides out of Santa Clarita just to go get medicine. If the entire country of Canada has legalized marijuana, if our state is legal, there's no reason for anyone to leave Santa Clarita for medicine.
Look, dude, you're talking to a guy. I gave for 9 months medical marijuana to my daughter as part of the Canna Kids program because she was going through 6 vicious rounds of chemotherapy as not even a 2-year-old. She was diagnosed at 15 months. And it was the only way. And I do say only. Look, there's a lot of potheads out there that lie about back pain and knee pain just to get their medical marijuana cards back when you had to, okay? But at the same token, there's a lot of liars in that, but there are a lot of people who are honestly, their lives are greatly benefited by medical marijuana. I'm a huge advocate for the legalization thereof. So,
And that's the thing. That's really the science and the health benefits are real. We've done educational program on the health benefits of marijuana.
So why do the Democrats keep outlawing it, Mark? No, I'm just
I think it's because, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
But and
Okay,
that's the
I
thing.
lost
There's-
a dear friend. It was a key thing, part of his therapy as he died from cancer. It was a key thing, and he's a resident here, and it was difficult. So that brings a new thing, and we obviously know
Well,
this
what's
city
keeping us
council.
from having it, though? I thought
this
don't
city
we have
council is against
dispensaries?
it, correct?
Well, that's the thing. They're all against it. And from
Oh, get out! Are they really?
When I
Oh.
when I actually met them and we had this conversation about medical marijuana, they're concerned about kids walking by a dispensary, but they're okay with kids walking by a liquor store.
Yeah, that is foolish. I got to tell you, if I could outlaw a substance in our society, or at least heavily regulate it like we do marijuana, it would be alcohol first. Because the amount of abuse, the amount of accidents, the amount of everything, and the impairment that alcohol brings upon you. But for some reason, we're used to liquor shops. But holy smoke! If there's a medical marijuana dispensary, we're gonna freak out. Never mind, they're like registered from space. That's how heavily regulated they are.
So why are people leaving Santa Clarita to go get medicine?
But come on, isn't there dispensaries here?
No.
Are
No,
they
you've
are
got
they
a
not
lot of
allowed?
restriction- You've got a lot of restrictions here. So we got one major platform. What's your second one?
My second one is traffic.
Okay.
I'm in traffic every single day.
Yeah.
The population in Santa Clarita is going to grow 50 to 100,000 people more up here. How is traffic going to be managed? How is that going to be handled? I'm proposing Hyperloop, a monorail system, something to connect Canyon Country to Valencia, Newhall, even up to Castaic. If we can power an amusement park, we can power a monorail system. Hyperloop is in our backyard in LA. I've given rides to engineers that work at Hyperloop, and they said it can absolutely be done here. We would reduce traffic, and we would reduce carbon footprint.
So you've seen all these new developments coming in, the canyons, up in the Plum,
Oh,
all
yeah.
those other
Oh,
places.
yeah.
And
And
you're
I'm-
going,
and
Okay, how do we do that without imposing a tax that we've avoided in Santa Clarita
Well,
so
there's a lot of ways to do.
Because I mean, you got to realize our Parks and Rec budget is $2 or $3 million. We couldn't afford one of those cars on Hyperloop or on the monorail. Sorry, for $2 or $3 million.
Well, there could be charitable trusts set up. I mean, there's other ways of managing, but we need to really. That was a real sobering reality, is that there wasn't any forward thinking when it came to traffic. This should have been addressed 10 years ago or figured out.
Yeah. Now, okay, so you're totally speaking my language. I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with needing to fix traffic. But
the
you're not
14
the
freeway
first.
is just jammed completely, and then the 5's right behind it.
Yeah, but you're also not the first person that said, okay, we need to improve traffic. But for example, I look at it because I drive a lot too. I've got a fleet of 7 vehicles in a business that I run. So I'm just like you when it comes to Ubering. I'm driving very often. And I've noticed, for example, the only thoroughfare, I live in Saugus, the only thoroughfare to get to Saugus, okay, is either you go all the way up Newhall Ranch Road, which is not the correct way to go. You have to go up the 14, then hit Railroad Avenue, right? Railroad Avenue is 2 lanes on each side, and it is packed 3 lights back between 3 and 6 o'clock every day. Like, my worst traffic is oftentimes not even on the freeway, but on Railroad Avenue.
Yep.
But what can I do? I'm not going to displace Amtrak on the right side. It's called Railroad Avenue for a reason. And on the left side, what am I do? Tell Saugus Cafe, the oldest restaurant in LA County, sorry, you got to go along with every strip mall and business along the way. It's an impossibility. So
Well, I don't think it's an impossibility. I think there's riverbeds and creeks that we can preserve, but use that as a guideline to connect all these cities.
So you're talking about some forward thinking when it relates to our transportation network, let
Correct.
alone what you're trying to lead as cutting edge. It's obviously very different than the existing council when it comes to medical marijuana. What's your third point?
Third point is vocational education for millennials. I think there's a very big opportunity.
Oh, are you suggesting? Oh, yes. Keep talking. Millennials, listen up. You're going to get some jobs.
Listen,
now.
How did you know that's his hot button?
Well, listen, I've spoken to a lot of millennials, and they need to figure out their hustle and what they want their hustle to be. They have every opportunity in their backyard of LA. Nothing's below them. They're not entitled to anything. They can learn landscaping, cybersecurity, post-production. All those jobs could be created right here in Santa Clarita.
Are you suggesting that leftist secularism has totally atrophied the value that we put on the trades and working with your hands in a blue-collar America to
That's
such a
what's
degree that now we need to bring it back?
Yep.
Yeah, we just want to lay on the beach.
Yeah.
Use that marijuana.
All right. This is pretty cool.
And my last thing, we need a real nightlife out here.
Yeah. Yes!
You know, I've given rides to people that leave Santa Clarita all the time. Why be further away from your house? Why spend your money in other cities? Why not be here in Santa Clarita? You could have something.
Suncup's got a winning platform here.
I had no idea who you were 15 minutes ago before you came into this studio. But you came in looking so hip, I was halfway to the voting booth for you. Now he suggested legalizing medical marijuana dispensaries in town. The monorail I'm not quite sold on. But let me tell you, the nightlife, yes. Okay, so I was going to ask you for details about traffic, but forget it. What details on nightlife? How can we improve the nightlife? Because you look like you got a hip nightlife, bro.
Listen, I spent 20 years down in San Diego. There was a point in my life where when I was a millennial, I was partying down in TJ, okay? There could be something like that, but without any alcohol. For millennials, for kids that are younger, just get away from their phones, socialize, be part of that energy, get that energy out. Newhall, right here, is regentrifying. There could be a big opportunity to create a rooftop bar.
Okay, to be honest with you, I think this is the thing I'm most enthusiastic about that you've said, not just because I'm a nightlife junkie, but also I've suggested many times that if we're going to be in the business of subsidizing things like we do in Santa Clarita, we should be subsidizing things that breed spontaneous interactions between people. Like me and Mark actually met because we both volunteer with the Boy Scouts. And I was ripping on Democrats one day in the hall of a church building as we were teaching.
It's because he's a guy in the middle, and he really doesn't have any views on the left or the right, so he just kind of picks it up.
And then so he just started like bantering back with me, and I was like, dude, hey, you're cool. You should come on my show. And next thing you know, he's like done 20 shows with me.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of anything that generates spontaneous interactions between people because you do need that, especially in suburbia, man.
No, of course.
I think you've proven that point coming out of the Uber business that there is great value in that human communication. I love the fact that he's got a very distinct platform that is different from many of the other existing candidates.
And
it's
you
fun
need
to hear.
that. No, and you need that. And really, and I think that's what separate me. I think we need fresh ideas here. We need forward thinking.
All right. Fresh ideas and forward thinking. His name is Senkalp B. Varma. This guy is thebomb.com/awesome. All right. And he's looking for your vote for city council. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be back. This is Problem Solver Politics. It's 8:23.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
Hey, it's Aaron Del Torre checking in with today's weather forecast. Clear skies all day long, might see some light cloud coverage, but daytime high is going to hover in the upper 80s, lower 90s. Overnight low is going to drop down to the mid 50s. It is no longer daylight saving time. Have you checked your clocks? Have you set them back 1 hour? Along with the changing clocks, our Valley's officials say it's a good time to go over annual emergency preparedness procedures, changing the batteries in your smoke detectors, going over your earthquake readiness kit, and more. More details at hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220. Hometown.
If you see a traffic problem in our valley and would like to let us know, call the traffic tip line at 298-KHTS. That's 298-5487. 298-KHTS.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
This Christmas, join us for the ultimate holiday concert, A Very Merry Christmas with the Letterman, Sunday, December 9th, 5 p.m. at the Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center. The legendary Letterman here in Santa Clarita singing your favorite holiday classics. Joining them is Santa Clarita's singing sensation, Savannah Burrows, along with our very own West Ranch High School choir. You'll also hear the Letterman perform their string of top 10 hits. A Very Merry Christmas with the Letterman.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
The Letterman, Savannah Burrows, and West Ranch Choir, Sunday, December 9th. For tickets, visit canyonspack.com.
Merry Christmas. KHTS
Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
All right. Welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. It's 8:26 in this lovely Sunday evening. I am your host, Cardon Ellis. We are live in the studio with Mark Murphy. And guess who just walked in to plead her case and ask for your vote? We've got Marsha McLean.
Well, I'm just glad she walked in because she's the experienced candidate who's so used to doing this, she can sit right down and go to work.
And I got to tell you, man, Sean Weber's late, dude. He's late, and she showed up early. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes, Marsha.
Well, there you go. I'm always ready to go.
All right. Excellent. Okay, so check this out. What an election this go around. Is this not the most crowded election you've ever participated in?
Yes, it is the most crowded. However, we have had up to 11 or 13 in the past.
Isn't it 16, Cody? What is it right now?
It's 15 right now.
It's 15 right now.
15.
Okay, wow. Yes. Holy smoke. Okay, so anyway, we're glad to have you on. I guess for those of you that don't know Marsha McLean, how long have you been on city council?
I have been on the city council since 2002.
Okay.
And I know that sounds like a really long time, but it takes time to build up relationships in order to get the money we need for our traffic concerns and the money we need to be able to build community centers and parks and libraries and things like that.
And you've got a lot to be proud of. You've built a fantastic city. Can you talk about some of what you think are the top accomplishments?
Well, one of the favorite things that I love hearing is when I'm out and about in the grocery store or whatever, and people come up to me and we start talking.
Which grocery store? Do you have any particular endorsements? No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's okay. I equal opportunity for all grocery
Are you a
stores.
Trader Joe's girl, like a Vaughn's person?
You know what? Vaughn's has the best cakes. Trader Joe's has the best kind of eclectic variety of things like that.
She's good.
Okay. All right. True politician. Didn't give either answer right. No,
She's smooth.
So anyway, keep going. You've done a lot in the community.
Okay. So I'm out in the community, and they tell me that even though we are the third largest city in LA County, we still have that hometown feel. And I was out and about. I was knocking on doors just today, and not one, but several people said they go to the valley, they come back here because it's home and they love it and it's clean and it's safe and it's family oriented. And that's what I think is absolutely the best thing about Santa Clarita right now.
Okay, excellent. Awesome.
Well, she's also pulled some things off when it comes to our transportation system and our development of our downtown.
Yeah, brag.
This
is your chance. This is your chance.
I mean, we've been here a
We
long
got like
time.
8 minutes with you. Tell us why you're so awesome and why people got to vote for you again.
Okay, well.
And then we're going to hit you with some questions about why we don't have medical marijuana dispensaries and where's the nightlife in Santa Clarita. But
well,
okay, you've been warned.
I can answer those questions for you.
Save it for the finale.
No, but regarding transportation, even before I was on the city council, transportation has always been one of my favorite things because everybody needs transportation.
yes, it's a win-win argument.
Right. So I am on several. Was just elected vice president of the JPA, the North County Transportation Coalition. I sit on the Southern California Association of Governments Transportation Policy Committee. I also belong to the San Fernando Valley COG, Council of Governments, and that body, its main priority is to bring connectivity, transportation and connectivity. And that's one of the things I'm really proud of is the way I have built these relationships. I worked with Supervisor Michael Antonovich first, and then I am working with Catherine Barger right now, and we just opened a brand new station at the Burbank Hollywood Airport, where now, for the first time, Antelope Valley Metrolink riders can take a train directly to the airport.
All right.
That is a huge accomplishment. And now you've been a part of the group to move the train station from Via Princesa over to the future Vista Canyon project.
Well, actually, it's my preference to keep Via Princesa, even though we're opening another one out in Vista Canyon. And the reason is I've heard from commuters that that station is extremely convenient for them.
Okay.
In other words, that's close to where they live, and it's convenient for them, and the ridership is quite high.
Yeah, that parking lot's always packed, and an extra 3 minutes isn't going to smash anybody's commute.
No, and so we're not talking. So, although we're big fans of Vista Canyon and what Jim's trying
absolutely.
to accomplish and the new station,
As
but
I am.
you've laid that in. But also talk about the Cross Valley Connector and some of the other issues where we've had some success.
Right. Well, these roads just don't build themselves, and nobody gives you the money. You have to compete for the money. The Cross Valley Connector was federal funds, state funds, and local developer funds in order to be able to build that Cross Valley Connector. It was about $225 million to get it built, but it has alleviated an awful lot of traffic off of Soledad Canyon Road.
Okay, so now I just said to the other candidate before us, you're speaking my language when you talk traffic. I don't want to bore a bunch of listeners by getting too much in the weeds, but it is something that's like the most bipartisan issue out there, I think, is probably traffic.
Right.
But everybody mentions it, and I can see how traffic can be better and planned better in the new communities we're growing. But, for example, I live in Saugus. The only way to get there is to go up Railroad Avenue. I mean, there's no bones about it, okay? Mm-hmm. You can do this long wraparound where you go up Newhall Ranch Road and you add 3 miles and so on and so forth. But the truth is, everybody in Saugus and that part of town, there's 100,000 people that get stuck in more traffic on Railroad Avenue than they do even on the freeways getting to work. And to me, it seems like it's an impossibility to promise better traffic in Santa Clarita wherever anything's built. Because, I mean, it's called Railroad Avenue because on the right there's Amtrak. You know, and we're not going to say, sorry, Amtrak, you have to eminent domain the entire industrial center for 3 miles, okay? And we're not going to say on the left side of the street, opposite of the railroad track, oh, hey, Saugus Cafe, oldest restaurant in L.A. County. You got to go along with every strip mall from Bouquet Canyon all the way down to that plot of land that hasn't sold for 20 years on the corner of Newhall, the Newhall Avenue exit and Sierra Highway. So to me, it almost seems like an impossible promise to say that it seems like there's these underlying traffic issues that just will never get alleviated unless I swear we build a tunnel underneath Railroad Avenue.
Well, actually, let me tell you some really good news.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Right. Whitaker Bromide, I'm sure you've heard of Whitaker Bromide. It's about almost 1,000 acres, right kind of in the middle of our city. Okay.
Yeah.
It is very close to being cleaned up.
Haven't we been saying that for like 20 years?
They have, but actually now DTSC, the state, is the one that gives the clearance, and they're saying we're close to being able to develop on that. Once we do that, there are 3 different roads that can go through there that can help to alleviate the problem you're talking about. The extension of Magic Mountain Parkway, Santa Clarita Parkway, and Via Princesa.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. We finally get those.
Yeah, those 2 blocks of Via Princesa that are still named Via Princesa on the other side of Wiley Canyon that causes confusion when everybody pulls up Google Maps.
Now, I do feel sorry for the people in places like Rainbow Glen. I'm hoping we're taking that into consideration when we find all the cutoffs that now occur. But there's obviously a lot that has to be done in transportation, but you've done some other things when it comes to the library system, but also what has happened right here on this street with the new theater. Could you give us some highlights there?
Absolutely. Once again, even before I was a city councilwoman, we moved to Newhall in 1980, and I belonged to a group that was first formed by Congressman Buck McKeon down here in Old Town Newhall, because
you're an original political gangster. All right.
Well, I've just been a community activist. You know, I've been on the other side.
You're talking about before our city was incorporated.
I am. And so the revitalization down here, because it used to be wonderful when you first moved here. We had a stationery store, we had a drugstore, we had the post office. We had some really good businesses down here. And then unfortunately, they just started one by one to go away.
Yeah, you get the urban decay where they leave the center and they go towards the outskirts where the new strip malls are.
This used to be in the old hardware store.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I know. That was sad when that left. But the point is that it takes a long time to get Newhall to where it is right now. When I was elected to the city council, one of the first things I did was I told the city manager we need to have a 10-point plan to be able to revitalize Old Town Newhall. So we started looking back then. And when we looked at areas that had revitalized their old towns, they said, you start now, it's going to take you between 15 and 20 years before you're going to see some kind of what you want to see. And guess what? It's exactly the time it took. And look at us now.
So you've got a new library, a new independent theater, the Lamel Theater.
Lemley Theater, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, beautiful.
And we've got our library. We've got new businesses moving into Old Town Newhall. We have young people coming to Old Town Newhall for our Thursday nights, our census. That is one of the most crowded events going on because that's one of the things we want to do. We want to give our young people an opportunity to stay here in Santa Clarita so they don't have to go over the hill.
So to help them create a nightlife.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
She already killed that. Okay, so we got 15 seconds left. In 15 seconds, just give us your best shot.
Okay, well, what do I bring to the table? I bring experience. I bring the ability to work with law enforcement. You know, my very first job was with the Los Angeles Police Department, and I am endorsed by 4 different public safety organizations. I could name them if I had time. Nobody else is endorsed by them because I know about law enforcement. I'm a business owner. I understand that you never spend more than you take in, and that's why we have a balanced budget and we can afford to invest in our businesses and in Santa Clarita. So I'm saying what I bring to the table is the ability to keep Santa Clarita the safe, clean, family-oriented community that it is today. And so please, I ask for your vote on November 6th. If you haven't already voted, please make sure you do vote. It's extremely important to have the voters turn out for November 6th because we want to keep Santa Clarita as great as it is, but still looking to the future.
All right, that was a lot more than 15 seconds, but hey, she's a politician. It's Marsha McLean, ladies and gentlemen. She brings public safety to the table, a bunch of endorsements, and a really cool red pantsuit. This is Problem Solver Politics. It is 7:38.
Come join me, Arif Halby, for Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Every Tuesday at noon, we uncover ways to help you manage your money, get out of debt, and prepare for your retirement. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Are you not sure if you can retire yet? Listen to us and learn about tips for savings, retirement strategies, and so much more. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on your hometown station, KHTS.
You can now find your hometown station all over social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, we're on it. Pinterest, YouTube, even Snapchat. KHTS even has apps for your Apple and Android phones. Plus, you can get email and text alerts on our homepage on the website. We're all over the place. You can link up to everything by going to hometownstation.com/social. It's that easy. hometownstation.com/social.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
KHTS. Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
All right, welcome back. This is Problem Solver Politics. You are on this KHTS studio live with Mark Murphy and Cardon Ellis.
Amen.
So I do apologize for earlier. I said it was 8:13 when we went to first commercial break or something because foolishly I hadn't set back what I thought was our atomic clock on the wall that I always look at. So no, it's 7:41. I apologize for that gaffe. We actually are live, not an hour in the future. Though, if I could speak to you from the future, what would I say?
You know, you really are glad that the Democrats really stormed and swung the White House, swung everything, and it's made Congress the living, beautiful, compassionate place it needs to be. Thank you.
Yeah, Joseph Stalin said the exact same thing when he got rid of the.
You study Stalin over there in that party a lot, don't you? Okay.
Actually, so anyway, Machiavelli.
We should probably focus in on the nonpartisan side of politics down at the local level where we actually get things done.
So we've got a great guy in the studio right now. We got Ken Dean here with us, who is in a tough and crowded race for city council. But let me tell you, Ken, before you talk and you give everybody your spiel here, I have got total respect for this man because when he came into the studio, I said, hey, I saw one of your representatives actually on the street corner holding up a Ken Dean for city council sign, doing a better job than the people that are paid by the cell phone companies to wiggle the sign. Not as good as the dudes that spin it, but definitely better than the guys that wiggle it, all right? And he was enthusiastic, and he was pubbing Ken Dean, and next thing I know, he says, which street corner was it? And I said, oh, it was Bouquet and Newhall Ranch Road, and he says, oh, that was me. So this guy is the real deal, pubbing himself.
Hey, it worked for Wilk. We've got Wilk.
We got Wilk, exactly. So Ken Dean, welcome to the studio, man. Who are you? Tell us what you're about, what your platform is. We want to know everything we can in the next 10 minutes.
Okay. Obviously, my name is Ken Dean. I moved here in 1981, and in 1984, I ran for the California State Assembly. I didn't win, obviously, but I did very well. I learned a lot about how you get out there and talk to the public and get people to vote for you. After the election was over, I kind of looked around and I thought to myself, we got a problem here. And that is that we were being governed by the LA County Board of Supervisors miles and miles away. So the first thing I said was, we need to be a city. I didn't know how to start, where to go. At the time, I was the president of the Optimist Group, and a lady by the name of Connie Warden came in and talked to us about cityhood. I said, count me in. I want to be part of the City Formation Committee, and I got involved. And so ultimately, I became one of the founding fathers of our city. I had a vision of what our city should be, its past and its future, and we're kind of going in that direction.
Wow.
You've also been a teacher for quite some time in this city.
Yes,
so
I
you're
have.
invested in the kids.
Because, I'm reading the vote by mail voter guide here, and I noticed that under your description, usually people put these lengthy, business person / investor / entrepreneur / environmentalist / they're like 15 slashes. But on yours, you simply put, oh, goodness gracious, where are you on the list? There's so many of them right now. But you put educator. There it is. You just said educator.
Teacher,
awesome.
educator.
Teacher
yes.
/ educator. So what do you do?
Well, I've taught for 15 years at Valencia High School.
Okay.
I taught another 2 years at Saugus. I taught the ROP Interior Design Program for all the schools. And it was very popular. And
if I visit your house and I got a problem with the furniture or the drapes, dude, I'm really going to have to voice on air my disdain. No, I'm just kidding.
You'll love my place. It looks like a museum. Believe me.
All right.
It's
excellent.
a combination between the Getty and anything else that's a
Something else
museum.
hipster. All right.
Well, we know how cutting edge it is now to be talking about these new technological jobs, these opportunities for people to go into that don't require 4 years of college education. This
That's
is right
true.
up your alley. You love this
Hey,
stuff.
I'm telling you.
And so
The
you've
more
been
you can get
doing it.
millennials working, the happier I am.
So you were doing it.
Yes.
Okay, a long time ago. Now, what are you going to do for us in City Council? What do you see as your platform, your 3 key points or 4 key points?
First and foremost, it's something I've been talking about for 30 years, going back to when I was a founding father. I was on the city and the chamber transportation committees, and that is traffic and congestion. I've been harping on this for 30 years, and it's like it keeps falling on deaf ears. And it seems the only time it's brought up is when there's an election. But it doesn't change. We have as much congestion as we did 30 years ago. Prime example is go to the intersection of Newhall Ranch Road and Bouquet Canyon. That is absolutely, and I hate to use the word stupid. There's no logic, doesn't make sense. The timing and the way the traffic is directed at that place. So it's a nightmare.
Okay, so I have got to put speakers of everything that we've said to every single candidate we've interviewed has mentioned traffic, and it's always their first or their second thing. And I swear my listeners don't tune out. I'll make this very, very fast. But I give an example. I have to go back to Saugus, which means I go up Railroad Avenue to that same intersection you mentioned. And to me, it seems like such an empty promise to promise you're going to help alleviate traffic, because Railroad Avenue is called Railroad Avenue because on the right side, there's Amtrak. On the left side, there's every strip mall and every car mechanic shop. It's an impossibility to, quote, alleviate traffic, because alleviate traffic really means build more roads or widen roads you have. And it's impossible to widen that road, yet it's the only thoroughfare people from Saugus have to get home. So isn't promising to help alleviate traffic kind of an empty promise, because it's just a landlocked, bad endeavor?
Well, first of all, when that road was called San Fernando Road, traffic did flow a lot better then.
Because of the name? No,
no, it did, because
we've also added about 150,000 people since that time.
Yeah, isn't it just
that's true.
We finished Cross Valley Connector. Now we have the 14 freeway, not as freeway, it's a 14 sandlot. We don't move now. But here's the thing. What's your next thing? We know traffic is a challenge here, and we know there's a lot of work, and we're probably going to need to have a lot of people want to talk about it. Second point.
Second point is bus turn-ins.
Oh, boy. This is new.
Okay.
This is cool.
And if you go to, I'll give you an example. On McBean, on the side of Target, there's a bus stop. I remember one day I was walking from Target over to Home Goods, and a bus had to stop while some fellow was walking across the street to get on the bus with a bike. Well, what happened was traffic started backing up behind the bus. Ultimately, it blocked the exit for Target. So now you had congestion on McBean, you had congestion in the parking lot, and it was not, and people could not go around the bus.
I knew where you were going with this.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah. So we have bus turn-ins, and I don't buy where they say we can't afford it. You can afford it. You need to go around and you need to look at all the bus turn-ins. Another one is on Soledad by White's Canyon. You need to find these. You need to earmark them. You need to have a budget on the proposed budget, which is a line item for these bus turn-ins. I actually went over to the one on McBean and measured it all out myself. If we have to do eminent domain, we have to do eminent domain. But we have enough room there where that bus turn-in can be incorporated in that area there. The actual sitting area does not have to be in the middle. It could be off to the side.
Okay, so I suspect that with the Trump bump, even though the economy is slightly finally
Yeah, I've
petering out
lost
right
all
now.
of my investment gains for the year of 18 because he
for
said
like one
something.
day.
He took complaint. If he would just keep his
You
mouth
know,
quiet
everybody is waiting.
so we can do well.
Everybody is waiting to see what happens in the midterm elections.
Okay, so we're going to get an 8 to 12% bump coming into the new year.
This
in our investments,
is a
but that's-
completely predictable downturn.
Well, what does that have to do with
the economy?
We are going to have a
Well,
successful
this is part of a
bus.
question.
This is going to be a successful bus
This
turn-in.
is part of my question here. Okay, so here's a question. I do suspect that our city is going to make a little bit of extra money from whatever our percentage of tax money is, however we get funded in X, Y, or Z way.
This is a successfully funded city.
No, I know it's successfully funded.
Reserve.
I'm about to make a financial question here. I'm saying, okay, well, these bus turn-ins, I get that would help alleviate some of the pressure. What would you take? I mean, I know we're going to have some extra money from the extra revenue that people are making, but I don't know if that would be enough to all of a sudden cover a major traffic that involves eminent domain. So what would you suggest taking money from in order to fund this?
Well, not being familiar with the budget as it is, I will say this, however, that a few years back, I was able to sit in on I was able to get a copy of the proposed budget, sit on a city budget meeting, and I presented something to him, which I have to say fell on deaf ears. But what I found was on the proposed budget, there was a line item, and I'll call it 101. That line item was for the same, it was for every office in City Hall, every division, or however you want to phrase it. Each one had line item 101, and what it was for magazines. and I added it all up, and it came to $70,000. That may not sound like a lot of money, but I'll tell you.
That'll pay for a bus turn in White's Canyon.
You bet it will. So,
all right.
So that's something that I brought up, and it fell on deaf ears.
So we're going to completely tank the city's magazine budget.
It's about time.
And start. Hey,
Yeah.
You know what would be totally ironic and awesome is if we somehow found a way to inlay whatever magazine was, defunded. Just like inlay it in fiberglass in like one of the stones of the bus terminal or the bus roundout that he's suggesting.
I'm just
here.
a fan there, but we're running out of time, and he's got to hit us with his top points. What is
Yes.
he going to do for us? Because
Yes.
he's already talked about ROP. This is right up your alley.
Yeah,
man.
dude, the last 90 seconds are yours. You're an educator. Come at us with everything we can improve, my man. Why should people vote for you over the other 11s?
Because I'm great.
I'm great, and I'm a founding father.
what
Santa
can I tell
Clarita's
you?
George Washington just came in, right?
I love this. The founding father. This is cool.
Yeah, and I'm the only one on the candidates that's the founding father, which I'm proud of. But the thing is that there's one.
Well,
other
how
thi-
can we verify that? Like, we don't have a city constitution that was signed with a bunch of John Cank.
I don't buy this. This guy looks like he could outrun all of us.
Okay.
All you have to do is go to the back of City Hall. There's a plaque, and it has the founding fathers on it.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody's name's on that.
That is street cred right there. I mean, that is straight up street cred.
Yes.
All right, 30 seconds, man. Give us the
Okay.
last pitch.
Well, the last pitch is this. I've been around a long time. I see us as we are not a stagnant city. We're alive. And history has shown us that without leaders with new visions, cities have fallen into decline. And it happens all over. And I have that vision. I think I can go forward and bring about what we need. We need to take care of the traffic and congestion. We need more parks in the city. We need more educating our students with drugs, starting with the grammar school and talking about the adverse effects of drugs in our actual schools.
All right. Okay, Bill Miranda, Marsha McLean, Lorraine West, you better watch out. We got an original founding father out from the grave coming for you. And before we go to commercial break, too, I do have to give a little shout out to Marsha McLean and apologize for calling her suit a pantsuit. She brought the distinction to my attention that it's not a pantsuit.
But it was one chic business suit.
Yeah, it's a business suit. So she's got a business suit on today. So we got Ken Dean here coming after your business suit, Marsha. Watch out.
And I just want to say one more thing, response to what you said. I'm not coming out of the grave. I'm alive, man. I'm ready to go.
The political grave.
This guy looks like he just stepped out of a tennis court in Hollywood. So
that's true.
Thank
dude.
you.
Awesome. This Problem Solver Politics is 7:54.
Are you ready for some football? Consumers Furniture is. Come on in and check out our huge selection of Power Motion furniture. We have the largest selection of reclining sectionals, sofas, love seats, and recliners in the Santa Clarita Valley. Fabric or leather, Consumers has the right piece at the right price to make your home ready for all the big games. Need it for this Saturday or Sunday? No problem. Consumers has same-day or next-day delivery on most of our items. Consumers Furniture is located in the Center Point Shopping Center right below Sam's Club and Walmart.
Kick off the holidays at Valencia Marketplace on Saturday, November 10th, and donate a toy as we launch our annual Sheriff Toy Drive. Check out your favorite stores, climb on our antique fire truck, and experience balloon magic by Magic Castle magician Dennis Farrell. Free crafts for kids sponsored by the Montessori School of Stevenson Ranch. Music, prizes, crafts, magic, and lots of fun. Donate a toy and enjoy your holiday shopping at all your favorite shops at Valencia Marketplace. See you this Saturday. Visit valenciamarketplace.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too. Call right now. Operators are standing by. 1-800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 1-800-452-1075.
Your Going Places and College of the Canyons can get you there. It's not too late to register for fall classes. COC has 5 and 8-week term classes beginning in October and November. Pick up an extra general education class or take a class that piques your interest, like psychology, astronomy, dinosaurs, wines of Spain, and more. Want to take free classes? COC is offering free career skill classes this fall. Visit canyons.edu/class schedule now.
Santa Clarita's hometown station. Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. We got a little statement here from Laureen West. Our mayor wanted to put in her 2 cents. She couldn't make it today, but she did want to give us her opinion on the election and her incumbency, if that's the word. Laureen!
Santa Clarita is a great place to live, work, and raise a family, and with great schools. I'm running to continue serving you and keep our precious quality of life. My highest priority is keeping us one of the safest cities in America. We now have almost 10,000 acres of open space surrounding us, expanding 34 parks and improving our 85-mile trail system so life in Santa Clarita will keep getting better and better. We are considered one of the best places in America, and we can do even more. Improving traffic, expanding our road network is critical. Links like building Via Princesa across and improving transportation options. We just received $47 million that was approved to enhance the I-5 corridor through Santa Clarita with added trucks and HOV lanes. We're collaborating and partnering with the county, state, and federal government for a better Santa Clarita. We're building a new sheriff station, a 9-acre Canyon Country Community Center, and we're partnering for a brand new senior center. A Saugus Library is in planning. We're bringing the arts with the Laemmle Theater next year and just opened the usage of the restored Newhall Family Theater with over 500 seats. The main in Old Town Newhall is a vibrant and fun place to go. We're assisting with veterans and senior housing and the homeless with land we just purchased for year-round shelter and partnering for county funds with Bridge to Home. We're protecting youth with strong intervention programs for drug abuse like Heroin Kills, Defy SCV for schools, and the J-Team in the Sheriff's Department. Plus 100% graffiti removal is usually done in 24 hours. We're keeping our budget balanced with 20% reserves for emergencies. We're continuing the 10-year plan for fully funding employee pensions, and we're working with the Chamber of Commerce and EDC to bring and retain more quality jobs right here in Santa Clarita. We are a city with artistic talent, major filming, and a vibrant Old Town Newhall. We are one of the best places anywhere, rich in history and truly beautiful. I have been proud to serve you and would be honored to receive your vote so I can continue this legacy of quality.
Former President Obama made more appearances for Democrats. In Gary, Indiana, he campaigned for incumbent Senator Joe Donnelly, who's being challenged by Republican Mike Braun. And Obama said America is at a crossroads.
In the closing weeks of this election, of course, we have seen repeated attempts to divide us, not bring us together. Rhetoric designed to turn us on each other. This is a very old playbook.
An unclassified military intelligence assessment obtained by Newsweek says an estimated 200 unregulated armed militia members are preparing to head to the U.S.-Mexico border. The Pentagon has issued warnings to Army commanders over concern about unregulated militia self-deploying to confront the migrant caravan that's still hundreds of miles away. The sons of slain Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi are appealing for the return of their father's body. In a CNN interview, Salah Khashoggi said what led to his death inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul is still a mystery.
This is putting a lot of burden on us, all of us, that everybody is seeking for information just as we do. And they think that we have answers. Unfortunately, we don't.
The sons say their father has been misrepresented for political reasons. I'm Evan Haining.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-445-6363. That's 800-445-6363. 800-445-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Potential home.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 8 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
At the Brittany Foundation Dog Rescue, we believe that every dog deserves a forever home. We rescue dogs from shelters, abuse, and abandonment, and make sure that they're safe at our no-kill sanctuary. We pay special attention to older dogs and sick dogs. They have a much harder time finding homes, but we think they deserve a chance too. We do adoption programs every week. Check our website, BrittanyFoundationOnline.org, for locations. Join us. You could be a forever home waiting to happen.
Your hometown station.
It can happen at any time. Breaking news in the Santa Clarita Valley. KHTS has you covered. Brush fires, emergency freeway closures, police activity. If it's happening in the SCV, we'll let you know about it with our breaking news coverage. Keep a channel preset to your hometown station, KHTS.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Hey, it's Aaron Del Torre checking in with today's weather forecast. Clear skies all day long, might see some light cloud coverage, but daytime high is going to hover in the upper 80s, lower 90s. Overnight low is going to drop down to the mid 50s. It is no longer daylight saving time. Have you checked your clocks? Have you set them back 1 hour? Along with the changing clocks, our Valley's officials say it's a good time to go over annual emergency preparedness procedures, changing the batteries in your smoke detectors, going over your earthquake readiness kit, and more. More details at hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. Once again, we are live in the KHTS studio talking about this crazy, awesome, super fun. I've never used so many adjectives for a city council race. I mean, usually you joke about city council races being a little bit podunk, let's face it. You know, you argue about, like, things like, well, there should be a stoplight instead of a stop sign at the intersection of, you know, and they're kind of arguments that you would tune out a little bit. But this argument is, I mean, this election has been wild. Mad props to Senkalt B. Varma, who wants to put a legal medical marijuana dispensary in and improve the nightlife of Santa Clarita. I see Joe Messina right now raising one eyebrow, but let me tell you, this guy was cool. He was hip. He was articulate, and he brought up some really good points. Sean Weber, where are you, brother? Where are you? We had an appointment with you, and you haven't showed up. And Logan Smith, come on. Where you at, brother? Yo late. Anyway, we're in the studio now with another citizen of our great city who is looking to defend his seat at the Hart School Board, who has been a controversial figure in Santa Clarita politics for a long time.
Let's keep in mind, this is a non-political position. This is a position that only some of you get a chance to vote for because you're in a different part of the Hart District. So you can take great pleasure in enjoying Joe and his informative late-night rants, but also, you know, on such subjects as politics. But anyway, I just love the fact that he actually gets something done on the other side of the world.
Well, I got to tell you, love him or hate him, Joe Messina has been around this block and is a hard-working member of the Hart School Board.
Thank you.
And you've got I mean, the hours put in. I honestly, this is what I thoroughly believe is before we start clocking the time that you get counted for talking, because we try and really do almost down to the minute, you know, how much equal time we give people before elections, this close to the elections.
Hey, I got to mention something, though. One of my close, dear, very liberal Democratic friends, even more left than me.
If they were liberal, they vote Republican, but you meant leftist
even more
Democrat
left than me,
friends.
which is hard to
Okay.
believe,
Yeah.
but said, I don't know what the argument is about this man. I'd vote for Joe if I had the chance to, because I know what he's accomplished for this district. And I just thought you should know that.
Yeah.
Both on the left and the right, we hear a lot of very positive comments because of what you have accomplished and what we get done here. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Left, right, or center, I do have respect for people put in the time. Like, to this day, I wish we could find a way to constitutionally offer the option to, instead of tax people money and hard-earned resources that are monetary, to be able to tax time. Like, if Mark Murphy, who's a great guy who is going to get picked up by JSOC because he was so good at what he did with a gun and his brain and his mind.
Long since gone.
Yeah, long since gone.
The gun or the brain?
Both.
Clarify.
Both. Okay. Why couldn't he, instead of maybe paying an extra $2,000 in taxes, why couldn't he option the possibility to teach an elective course at COC that he'd probably be phenomenal at, enjoy doing, and would help a bunch of people who are maybe considering a law enforcement career or considering an accounting
because
career?
I couldn't be the HOA president, or I couldn't be on the church lead of the church organizations, and I couldn't do the scout stuff that I do. And,
I was using you as an example. It might have been a bad example,
It was
but
a very
hey,
bad example.
I
can't
could have
remember
said,
where I
"Hey, you
am."
stink, and you can teach socialism."
Yeah,
you know,
why did you put me on this
said
political
that.
show? I have no idea. But anyway.
All right, so anyway, we got Joe Messina here. He's fighting for his spot as the incumbent in the Hart School Board. Joe, welcome to the show. Tell us all about yourself.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm the local lightning rod, but you guys already know that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. You and I have been trying to get together for forever.
Yes.
Just to have some fun. So
this is what he calls fun.
Well, we all have our little.
I know.
By the way,
issues to
I'm
deal
the
with.
hip millennial, and I didn't show up with this iPad.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
got
right?
its own little.
And
I mean, you are out.
And I'm not an
teching us.
Apple guy. That's the thing about it. I am not an Apple guy. But
you might just get
I
kicked out
am
of the
not
studio.
an Apple guy. But look, we've been here almost 20 years. I mean, when Plum Canyon was almost a dirt road, you know what I'm saying?
It was a dirt road.
It was. Well, maybe in your day. In my day, it just had a light tar coating on it.
okay.
But so we've been back. You know, I have 4 kids to go through school. But to your point earlier, you know, I got involved early up here, and it wasn't because I was this great guy that wanted to change education. It was because there were some areas I wanted to help with. I knew I was in the technology world, and I knew I could help. And so I got involved with Saugus Union. I helped them update some of their computers, and I just got to meet people. You know how it slowly goes in this community?
Well, you were somewhat articulate and somewhat passionate. That kind of
Then,
helped.
now I've kind of lost it.
Yeah, we know that.
But so I got involved in that, and I saw what good was doing. And I don't know if you guys remember Gary Murr. He was with SU, Saugus Union School District. He was a great guy, just a great down-to-earth Joe. And he said, you need to get involved on the school board. I said, you're out of your mind. I don't want to do what you guys do. So I got involved in VIA education. I know, right? Then I went out of my mind. I got involved in the VIA education and then the Chamber of Commerce Education Committee. I was on several site councils. Matter of fact, I'm going to blow my own horn here for a second. If you recall, there was no light at Plum Canyon Elementary School. I don't know if you guys remember when there was no light there. There was a young boy that was hit and almost killed down the street.
Yeah.
Saugus Union actually used to send a school bus to that apartment building right across the street from Plum Canyon to take the kids to school safely. So I got involved with Bob Keller and a few others in town. They told me how to get it done. I went down to my wife helped me tremendously. We looked up the Caltrans regulations. We got Mike Antonovich to put that light in there within 90 days of putting pressure on him when they were looking at 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
So, and it wasn't that I was a Superman or anything, but community helped out. But somebody took the torch and said, this is wrong. We almost lost a young man's life there. This is wrong. You can fix this.
So it's so interesting. On the show so far, you are the 7th person we've interviewed today. We're getting so many, and sometimes I don't know if this is good or it's bad, because when you're talking about incumbents, I have such a mixed bag of feelings on this.
I agree.
I am such a huge term limits person. I mean, I can't stand the career politicians in this ruling class that we have just developed in this country. Congress has like less than a 20% approval rating, but an 85% re-election.
Yeah.
We're called boomers.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me that's how old they were, an average of 85 years old.
No.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of crazy, but Cameron Smythe is the only member of our city council that's under the age of 70.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have this love-hate relationship with incumbents because there's a big part of me that thinks, dude, fresh ideas, people that aren't baby boomers. I mean, let's think out of the box. And sometimes the only way to think out of the box is to change the box. Other times, I think, well, you don't want to lose that experience. There's somebody that remembers Plum Canyon when it was a dirt road. There's somebody that remembers this city before it was founded. And I noticed that it seems, though, however, in Santa Clarita, we don't get a lot of fresh faces. We've interviewed so far somebody who started politics in 1981, somebody who has a plaque on City Hall for having been a founding father, all right? The young Uber driver that wants to start a medical marijuana dispensary.
I can tell you what the problem is. Because
Okay.
I've seen it, I'm very heavily involved in the Republican Party, so I've seen it happen in our party. It happens in yours, too. Please forgive me for saying it this way. You got these young bucks that show up here, and, you want the young guy, you want the energy. I'm your man. What have you done in the community? Nothing.
They want to start at the top.
right?
We understand they want to start running in Congress.
And
but,
that's great, though. Yeah, that's
a lot of
great.
guts.
But see, that's my fault. And that's, to your point, some of the incumbents. We should be taking these young people under our wing and saying, I'm not going to help you to run this time, but work with me a year or two. Let me get you on some committees. Let's get you through the system so you understand how it operates.
Okay, so I'm just going to interrupt you for a second and push back a little bit on this, because this has been a frustration of mine that I've spoken much with DJ Hamburger about. I've spoken much with Mark Murphy about.
Yeah.
I have ran this show now for almost 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think we do a pretty good job here. Me, Cody, and Mark, we always got
I
good
look a
guests.
lot older.
We always got something interesting to talk about.
Well, Cody's really good, but anyway,
okay, yeah. And it's pretty obvious that I'm not shilling for the Democrats out here. And in a binary two-party system, there's only one other party that could be hoping to have some. I've never been contacted by a single Republican Party person to reach out and say, hey, only other radio political talk show besides Joe Messina in the Santa Clarita Valley with 400,000 voters. Maybe we could team up. Maybe we could push some agendas. Maybe we could talk about some candidates.
I'm the Democrat and nobody's called me.
This
is kind of sad.
Republicans here suck.
That my show started here, right?
I do,
And
yes.
when I started here, it was kind of a joke. It started on a fluke. We are now, may I toot for a second? We are now on 48 stations across the country.
Well, you're considered a national show, but you're also
right. But when I
creative
started here,
technology
Yeah.
guy. I mean, you come up with fresh ideas all the time.
But when I started here, okay, trying to get two people to run together, I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do a Republican or a Democrat. I think I had Bruce McFarland and Scott Wilk were my first two people in this room.
And Scott's
I've
never
had
stopped
Carol
running.
Lutness. I've had them all at some point in time, but it was always a struggle to get them in here. Always. But I got to tell you, the two people that walked out on me in this studio when I was doing an interview were both Democrats. Okay? So how do you have an open conversation? How do you have open dialogue if you have to think about the questions you're going to ask because you might offend somebody or irritate somebody?
Okay.
We should be able to have.
So I'm going to bring you back on. Maybe a little bit later on in the hour as the radio host, not as the candidate.
That's fine. I'll hang out, but do I have any time left?
Yeah, you've got 2 more minutes. Okay. Because we've
he
wasted all your
accomplish?
candidacy time talking about your.
And what is he going to do for us?
So
in
here's the
future?
thing: when I got on the Hart district, and I'm going to talk like the old FedEx guy. Remember him?
Yep, let's go.
So when I got on the Hart district, one of the first things they got rid of was career tech education. That was the thing I ran on 3 times.
Yes.
And we retired most of our counselors. It was really a mess. So God bless Steve Sturgeon. He saw me getting frustrated. He came on board with me, and we fought and we pushed. And now over 87% of our kids have been introduced to some kind of career tech ed pathway. I've been able to bring over $200,000 worth of equipment to the school, to Saugus High School. We were starting there. We were going to push off from there for computer what do they call the
Well, look at
machinist?
the digital
the
arts
machinist
that you now
equipment.
have at Golden Valley.
Oh,
this is a fantastic program.
But this is all stuff, and I'm going to take a lot of credit for this. And the staff will tell you at the district office, I was like a dog with a bone. I wouldn't give up on it. Bob Jensen came alongside, Steve came alongside, and all of a sudden you had 3 trustees because everybody who says I'm going to change, you can't change anything. There are 4 other people you have to get on your side. All right, so you have to have 5 people, or 3 of the 5 on your side. So it was great to do all of that, and it was great because that was what I ran on. I don't have a PhD in education. That's not my job. We have staff for that. But career tech ed seems to be a whole different animal. ROP, I used to call the tease classes because you got teased in an industry, but you really never got a certificate. You can now walk away with a certificate and go get a job as a welder or an auto mechanic or whatever. We never had that before.
Okay.
Hart to Home was my baby. I pushed Hart to Home, which is homeschooling at the Hart District. We have kids that, for whatever reason in their lives, none of my business, they can't come to school on a regular basis. We have young people that want to pursue careers in acting or other places where they can't be. They can actually now get a certificate, a graduation diploma from Hart, and without going to school 6 hours a day, and they can still pursue their careers. And if they need to take a science class, it's not like they're sitting at home trying to figure it out. They can actually take a science class at their local high school.
Great.
So there are a whole bunch of little programs like that I've helped push and help get them through and make sure all kids have to have the ability. I had a guidance counselor in the days where you could slap a kid upside the head, and he saw me playing around the parking lot and he slapped me upside the head and said, "Messina, let's go. You're not college material, but we got to get you doing something with your hands." And he put me in wood shop. And then I went from wood shop to metal shop. Then I went from metal shop to electronic shop. And you know what I became later on in life? An electrician. Now, he could let me stay there and maybe someday find a...
Are you advocating that high school counselors be able to corporally
I'm glad you said that because you know that's exactly what's on their Facebook. No, but I had teachers that could just look at you and make you do just about anything. And sometimes...
And there used to be a lot more men in education, too.
There was a lot more... let's put it this way. But I'm getting in trouble no matter what I say anyhow. There was a lot less politics in the classroom.
The political correctness is absolutely completely emasculated and destroyed
Okay, but
so
why don't we
much
talk about
efficacy.
The fact that our schools right here, in the top of the nation. We're talking about
top
the top
10% in the
top
country.
10% of the country.
Right.
Well, and isn't every
US World
single...
News, and I'm tired of hearing about how our kids are unsafe. You've got candidates. I know everybody has to throw their stuff out there, and I won't give details. But here's what I'll tell you: we have contracts with the FBI. We have contracts with the Sheriff's Department. These consultants come in on a regular basis. We look for holes that we have in our security. Any candidate who comes in and says, "I can keep your kids safe," is lying to you. We can only do the best we can do. And it's not like we sit in a room and go, I wonder how that school looks. No, we bring the professionals in, and they tell us where our problems are at. You ever heard people say, we need metal detectors? No, we don't. They'll get past the metal detectors. You know how? They'll find a way to sneak a gun parts in.
There's a million ways,
right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. No. It comes back to doing everything you can do to keep an eye on what's going on to keep our kids safe. Because that's really, we're supposed to educate them. I got that. But we need to keep them safe. If they don't feel safe, how are they going to get educated?
But you're also you've now turned around and you've got a school system that's doing very, very well in terms of its performance. We've looked at our advanced technology vocab school. It's now the model for the state.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are doing something really cool there. Plus, there's new technology, there's solar energy initiatives, all those kind of things. What's the future?
All right, so if I get back on the board, and I have every intention to, but if I get back on the board, some of the candidates have said, where's technology? When I got on the board, we had 9,000 pieces of technology. We now have 30,000. We've updated our system. Every one of our kids has their own, it's a one-to-one ratio in many ways. But I'll tell you something, and some of the board members are going to cringe when they hear me say this.
Well, every one of the kids, you didn't finish your sentence, every one of the kids has what, one tablet,
they have one
computer?
tablet so they have one device that they can work with because books are so darn expensive. And we're still working on cleaning that up and making sure that the kids are safe, even with those devices, because they're pretty creative on those devices.
Yeah.
So, we have Bowman in the middle of school, and we have a need for a second Bowman. And one of my thoughts is I would love to turn our current Bowman into a career tech ed center. Because we don't need a football field, right? We don't need any of that stuff there. Right. Yeah. We have our wonderful heroes up there right on the hill, right behind the school. COC would come in. We could teach career tech ed to our kids during the day, and then at night we could train those guys who are eight-track repairmen. We could train them in current technologies, and then open up a Bowman on each side of the valley.
Dude,
which is what we need.
I have been blown away with why there is no, for example, simple pest control license. ROP, because I am constantly trying to hire people.
But go ahead.
No. If you actually look at the science of it, for example, so my family has a pest control company,
right?
And the pest control license is actually pretty easy to get. You have to apply for it. It takes about a month for the government to filter through their bureaucracy and send you something back, and then online you sign up for a testing center down in Burbank or in Ventura. You go down and you take it, and there's about a 100-page study booklet. It's as difficult as a half-credit college course to get your license, all right? Yeah. But you basically have to prove that you can read, that you won't do something stupid, okay? And if you spill a pesticide on accident, you won't lick it and rub it in your eyeballs, all right?
Wipe it up with your shirt, yeah. Right.
Yeah, so it's a relatively simple thing to get, but it's a job you can have with a driver's license once you're 18 that is extremely conducive to college kids, because if they want to work just Monday, Wednesday, Friday and go to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's fine. It's a very fluid and education or actor career or whatever. I want to get my welding certificate in 2 years career class, but it's impossible to get these kids.
And the way you pitch it is you go find a school, if this is really your heart, you go find a school that's doing it now, okay? You find out what their curriculum is, what their success rate is, and then you what I tell people is follow the process. You come to the district office, you find out who you pitch it to. If you feel like you've got nowhere with them, you go ahead and pick up the phone, you call the career tech ed guy. Hello.
Okay.
All right. And then we work together. If I think it's viable.
Is there somebody on the inside whose job, though, is to proactively see what this is? Proactively see what opportunities there are?
We have our first 2 years I was on the board, we did not have a career tech ed director. The guy that was doing this, God bless him, he had 4 jobs. And career tech ed was on the back burner. And again, like I said, I want to give Steve Sturgeon a lot of credit for this, because I was ready to leave the board. I go, look, if I can't get career tech ed done, this is useless for me. So he helped me get involved, and we finally got we worked with the union, we worked with our staff, and we got approval to get a career tech ed director.
Okay, no, I get that we have some career tech ed, but this is something that blows my mind.
But she or Miss Dr. Doyle could help with this, help get this put into place.
Okay. Okay, I mean, it's great, and I know we have improved in some things, and I've talked with Bob Jensen, we talked with Aspirations of Donna Roberts, his challenger, and different people. We've talked a lot about your school district. Something that's it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't want to criticize because it is doing so well, especially in comparison to others.
Everything has issues.
But I do want to, this is something that's kind of it's really blown my mind that we haven't done this. Santa Clarita is loaded to the hill with entertainment industry professionals.
Yep.
And these are lucrative jobs. I mean, you can make as a 6th-year driver like 800 bones a day in a 12-hour day. You can make as a carpenter, as a gaffer, as a lighting professional, as a camera repairman. There are endless amounts of entertainment industry profession dollars to be made. And I hate to say it, but nepotism to be capitalized on. You know what I'm saying? How come we do not have, as probably the single biggest bedroom community of industry professionals, how do we not have cinematography class, camera repair class, set painting, set design,
Well, it's because
fiberglass.
You could use a Cal Arts.
Here's what we start with.
Cal Arts is too busy teaching everybody to be socialist and to hate Trump.
So first we start with the digital printing class, because we're going to need to print money as fast as humanly possible. There's only so much. This is my favorite saying: the bucket is empty. There's only so much money in the bucket. Dean was upset that some of the ROP classes got canned. I said, great, call Governor Jerry. 3 years ago, he pulled $1 million a year from our ROP classes, and we had to make up for it. So to your point, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I got to tell you something. If you go check out West Ranch and a few of the other schools, you're going to see how far that our digital video, digital photography.
Golden Valley, my daughter is having a wonderful time designing the program
Saugus
there
is
and getting
doing
something
movie
important done.
pieces.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I've talked a lot with Mr. Williams over at Saugus. Okay, we're going to have to take a break really fast and go to a commercial break. Before you sharpen your pencils too sharp and start blogging against me, Cal Arts, we were joking. We love you. We know you're not teaching everybody to be socialist, actually communist. This is Problem Solver Politics. Just kidding! Just kidding!
Kick off the holidays at Valencia Marketplace on Saturday, November 10th, and donate a toy as we launch our annual Sheriff Toy Drive. Check out your favorite stores, climb on our antique fire truck, and experience Balloon Magic by Magic Castle magician Dennis Farrell. Free crafts for kids sponsored by the Montessori School of Stevenson Ranch. Music, prizes, crafts, magic, and lots of fun. Donate a toy and enjoy your holiday shopping at all your favorite shops at Valencia Marketplace. See you this Saturday. Visit valenciamarketplace.com.
Your hometown station.
It can happen at any time. Breaking news in the Santa Clarita Valley. KHTS has you covered. Brush fires, emergency freeway closures, police activity. If it's happening in the SCV, we'll let you know about it with our breaking news coverage. Keep a channel preset to your hometown station, KHTS.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
All right, this is Problem Solving Politics. Welcome back to the KHTS studio. We are live here with Mark Murphy and Joe Messina, who is running to defend his seat on the Hart School Board. We were actually just talking about some interesting technological, and I forgot the term already. It was only 3 minutes ago. Whatever tech education. What's it called?
Career tech education.
Career tech education.
In our day, they called it, what was it? Industrial arts.
Industrial
Remember
arts,
that?
vocational arts,
Wow.
Jobs.
Okay.
High-paying jobs.
So now
High-paying
now
jobs.
you're saying how, okay, I was asking why is it in a city with so many entertainment industry professionals, we don't have set painting, we don't have lighting for movies and film. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
When I was at Santa Clarita Elementary, all right, because I actually went to Santa Clarita Elementary back when they were the Indians, not the Bulldogs, too. You know, it was really funny because even after they changed to the Bulldogs, there was this big giant rubber mat that kept the rain from when it rained off their shoes from getting in the multi-purpose room.
Right.
And it never changed, even after 10 years after they changed from the Bulldogs and the marquee changed. That little rubber mat was still in the NPR, but I did notice that they'd taken out the little thing that said Indians on the top, so there was the picture of the Indian, but it just didn't say Indians in this little rubber mosaic.
Now politically correct.
Yeah, it was really funny. They were like trying to be compliant with whatever, lawsuit they got hit with. But anyway, so this is when I was at Santa Clarita Elementary, we didn't have budget for art or music, but the PTA, now it's called the PTC, the PTA had gone out and had made a couple of deals with some of the entertainment companies saying, hey, donate $500 a month or whatever. And if we get 5 of these companies to donate, we can pay for a Monart and a paint teacher as well as a music teacher. So I actually had a very robust and very well-rounded elementary education with a full-time art and a full-time what's it called? I was just saying music teacher, and had a very good musical education considering an elementary experience because the PTA had proactively partnered with corporations to do it. So I get that there's only so much money in the bucket, but how is it? I mean, this seems like it's beyond low-hanging fruit. It seems like it's fruit that's like so low that like you're bumping your head in it and we're still avoiding it, you know?
Well, I think if you go look at really the classes we do have to offer, and I think to your point about set building and that kind of stuff, they do that, but they don't do that as a class of its own. It's part of the drama. It's part of those classes.
But getting kids to reenact Antigone isn't teaching them how to be them how to be an industry professional.
We've got some great art classes, and we have the new Center over at Canyon, for example.
Saugus, too.
And Saugus. There's been a lot of money been put into these programs, so it's great to see that they continue to go forward.
Okay, but hold on. Can we really tell ourselves honestly that we feel like a kid that graduates from X, Y, or Z high school in Santa Clarita, whether it's West Ranch, whether it's Valencia, whether it's Saugus, whether it's Hart, that if they're
not forgetting Canyon.
Okay, Canyon.
Or whether it's Canyon. We're at the top of the list? It's just,
Look, they're my rival, okay? I went to Hart. They're the unmentionables.
Wow.
So, no, I'm just kidding.
And I represent all schools, but Saugus is in my area. So
Saugus is your
guys.
Actually, Canyon's a great school. What they do over there is phenomenal. And I do have to say, though.
We do appreciate that. It's nice to be
recognized every once in a while. Okay.
We're the new rich area.
So, the new Canyon country. Getting gentrified by. Actually, Canyon country is massive now. But, the question I have is we always point to one program, or well there is drama. Well, let's face it, drama is for the acting kids.
All right.
I don't really feel like I made this analogy 3 shows ago when we were talking with Bob Jensen. 2 shows ago when we were talking with Bob Jensen. Is that I look at my grandfather. By 16, he was working on a railroad.
Right.
Like with his friend losing a foot and crazy stuff like that. By 18,
he was
qualified.
Part of the child safety program.
Yeah, no, well, he's not that old. He's not the Industrial Revolution old. But anyway, by 18, you're looking at a guy who'd already put in his hours enough to qualify for the new Social Security program at that time, okay? And then by 21, he's married. By 23, he's had all of his children, you know? And I'm not expecting that every 23-year-old...
we only had black and white television back then, too, but go ahead.
Yeah, if that even. But
he was listening to radio.
Back then, a GED, I mean, you had wood shop because the world needed more carpenters. Not just so you had this cute, well-rounded education and you could make a little napkin holder for your mom. Yeah. You had wood shop because we were teaching men to be men and actually...
You're going to get me killed, right? Is this what you're trying to do?
No, I'm not getting you killed.
You're leading me down that garden.
But listen, to your point, you're exactly
No, but like, why don't we have, like, we've gotten rid of metal shop at Arroyo Seco. We've gotten rid of all these other things I went to.
I'm going to say it again, and you're not going to like it. It's money. We have wood, we have metal, we have all kinds of shops at Saugus High School, for instance, and Arroyo Seco feeds into Saugus High School.
But this is where
I do not. I love these. I get these questions all the time. I do not have the money to buy wood for both shops. So I don't have the money to buy equipment for both shops.
Okay, but this is where the pushback comes in here.
Let's have fun.
Because I look at this, and I'm going to use this as an example. I'm not saying this is the exact same.
You just keep cutting taxes and therefore count on those volunteers' contributions to come in and
help
us
tell you
out.
Something. The state has owed us millions of dollars for years in taxes they've collected.
Time. Look, I'm about to rip into a Republican for you. I thought you'd be cheering me on.
Go
ahead.
Okay, so here's the deal. One day I show up for an inspection. And I go down to not Saugus Unified. Sorry, I go down to LA Unified, and there's this lovely principal there. Yeah. You know, and the school is this lovely old late 1930s, early 1940s Art Deco architecture school, similar to Newhall Elementary, okay? Yeah. Loaded with rats from a friend of a friend. She heard that I know how to take care of rats, and she sits there and says,
I can have so much fun with that.
Can you donate your time, right? And I say, okay, show me the problem. I go down there. And then fast forward. I'll make this short. We go into the gymnasium, turn on the lights. I see the rats scurry everywhere, and there's 15 pallets of brand new Xerox machines. All right, and I tell her, "Oh my gosh, you have got to get these Xerox machines out of here because rats are going to start chewing on the soy-based wiring."
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? And you're going to destroy this $15,000 machine. And I'm looking at like 7 $15,000 machines. In my mind, there are 6 figures of tech sitting on these plastic saran wrap pallets still. And she says, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, don't worry about those Xeroxes. I had to buy those because I have a use it or lose it tech budget, and I just bought those so I could use it."
No money to install them.
Yeah, but they don't have money to install them. They didn't need them because it would require more money to. And like the new ones, I mean, the old ones were working just fine. And she's like, "But can you donate your time? I've ran out of maintenance budget to get rid of the rats that are getting the kids in my school sick, right?" So I look at that when somebody says, "Oh, there's no money. Oh, there's no money." I barely believe it anymore in education because I know this fund accounting is giving kids iPads and putting new computers in these.
But to your point, listen, I know you want to rail on me, and that's good. I'm okay with that, all right? But I've heard some of the other people you've had in here, and I love this. I love the misconceptions that everybody goes, why are you building so much? Take some money from the building fund and start paying these teachers more money. Sure, I'll commit a felony for you, no problem. All right? I mean,
well, if we're on the
how
list
about we
of
have
felonies we want you to commit.
Yeah. So I want some reality brought back to these games that we play during the political cycles. And here's the reality behind it. I agree with you. Whether you believe it or not, I agree that we need to offer these kids more things. But we honestly don't have the money. And when it comes to people, volunteering for time, I want to tell you, my friend, we have a lot of great volunteers in this town. Very hard to get people to volunteer for some of the higher end items.
Okay, let's talk about the same 20% cover all the volunteer work.
Well, you know that from
most of them just
church, nonprofit organizations, or what have you.
Well, this is my problem. Like,
so you make a call on your show because people, listen to your show and say, "Look, you guys want to complain about education? You got a computer company like I did. I'm going to put my right." Then you donate X amount of your time. You bring your guys down 2 days a week or 1 day a week, and you fix all the problems that our guys can't. I did that. I put my money where my mouth was with my company.
No, this is a present company excluded argument.
No, I get you. But, I mean, there's a lot of companies that either don't know or they won't do it or they're afraid to get involved.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not talking about the companies. I'm talking about the decision-making process in which, for example, there's this obsession that I see right now, and it seems like the problem is a cultural obsession. We're so bent on getting kids, quote, college bound, as if not going to college is a death sentence. And, well, hold on, let me finish out. Let me finish. Is as if them not going to college is a death sentence.
It's not.
And then the other problem I see is we're buying all these computers for these computer labs, right? And I know the cost of computers. I saw that you just dumped $1,800 on this brand new 4K monitor with an ergonomic keyboard and yada yada this and that. I'm looking at this computer lab that just costs $100,000, and I'm sorry, but third graders aren't learning how to code so fast that they need a new 4K screen with an ergonomic keyboard. Why did we waste that $100,000?
I'm not going to beat on our elementary school people, but if you go down to Canyon High School, you go down to their library, go down to their computer lab, they are not state-of-the-art computers because a lot of what they're doing, they're not there. They're not doing that kind of thing. They're surfing the web or they're doing documents or that kind of stuff. So we buy accordingly. Listen, you got 2 technology guys on the hard board, and we pound pretty hard on some of the things we do. When they came to me, and if you go back and get the text, you'll see it's true. I started screaming when they were going to put iPads in every room. I said, "Not on your life. You're not giving a junior high school kid an iPad to run, to drop in the driveway, leave wherever." So we went out and we got Google, what are they called? The pads that Google has, okay? They cost us about $90 a piece. We can replace them easily. The Chromebooks. There you go. Okay. We have keyboards that they can attach to them. The teacher can reach those from her device. She can reach the overhead screen. So the technology, that's why when I told you, when I hear some people talking, when you have them here in interviews, the question you need to ask them is, when was the last time you actually went into a classroom, actually spoke to the teacher and saw them teach? We are worlds ahead from most districts. But I'm on board with you. I'd like to see more people volunteer. I'm out there pounding on people to come in and volunteer because who better to do those kind of things than people that have been in the business? To your point, like with Career Tech Ed, my biggest frost with Career Tech Ed, I can go out and find a master mechanic, 25 years, best guy you could have teaching the kids automotive. Can't teach. You know why?
Because he's so busy.
He hasn't got teacher credentials.
Right. Oh,
now I got to try to talk this crotchety old guy who knows everything about cars there is to know, hey, you got to go learn how to teach.
Well, okay, so this is now I know this is
certificate for the next year and a half.
Yes, now this is a criticism. This is a criticism of the California state government.
Yes.
By the way, yes, I do come down on the Hart board for what I see as, my criticisms and whatnot. But my criticism of the Hart board is 10% what my criticism is of the culture of parenting now, where it used to be when I was a kid, if a kid got a bad grade, the parents would look at him and ground him and, so-and-so got a bad report card. We just knew he was going to be disciplined. Now
they come after the teacher.
They come after the teachers. Yeah. I mean, it used to be, what's wrong with your kid? What's wrong with your parenting? What's wrong at home? Now, if a kid gets an F, the mom can be a drunk and the dad can be a, whatever. And they could, absentee father for all we care. And, you're not pulling a stand and deliver, therefore you're a bad teacher. You know what I'm saying?
So, Cardon, nobody's told you this yet. I haven't heard anybody tell you this part yet, though. But school boards, everybody thinks it's like we're the Board of Education, all right? Yeah. And our counterparts on the East Coast, they have a lot more power than we do. 85% of what we do is we rubber stamp and tell the state, we've done what you told us to do. We tell the county, we've done what you told us to do.
Yes, you're
we really only have, and I'm not just talking money, I'm talking process. We only have about 15% of what we do is discretionary for us to decide to do or not do or what have you.
Okay.
And to your point, last but not least, about parents, 3 years after I got on the board, we did a survey out to the parents. What do you want? Do you know that the manual labor items like carpenters, plumbers, electricians were at the bottom of the list?
Well, yeah, because that's half that's
we got
culture
doctor, lawyers, and that kind of stuff in colleges.
The parents don't know.
They don't know
the
You're
future.
Exactly right.
They don't study.
Understand.
They're ignorant. They don't even know what the FAFSA is. I mean,
and they feel stupid. What parent honestly is going to fill out a form and say, "I aspire to have my son be a pest control professional, or I aspire to have my son to be
I don't want you to give your number,
tires."
But you probably don't do poorly. Okay, I know my plumber lives in a better house than I do.
No, and the most underemployed profession in the United States of America for the past 28 years running, has been auto mechanic.
Yeah.
The most underemployed. I mean, if you want a job out there, learn how to fix cars. Boom, you got a job tomorrow.
They're dying for people. Matter of fact, I brought our local people into Saugus High School to help lay out the new automotive, the automotive room. Okay, and the stuff that they were telling us that they needed. It's all computerized.
Okay,
it's not like in our day when you listen to the engine and go, okay, I think we have a problem.
No, these guys are making six figures, a lot of them, and because they have all the certifications.
Yeah. And the new problem, the problem is, yes, this 25-year-plus mechanic that you have doesn't have his teaching credentials, so he can't teach auto shop.
We got to fix that.
But why can't we become now, let's talk to city council. Can we become a sanctuary city for uncredentialed, highly professional teachers?
Let's get that.
You know what I'm saying? Can we just do that?
City council has absolutely no bearing over education. The only thing
I know they don't, but we're going to become a sanctuary city for teachers with 25. Right? Yeah, we're going to be Education City LA.
I would love
it. If you have 25 plus years experience,
like a socialistic society.
I would love to hear Katie. If you can get her in here, I would love to hear Katie Hill's thought process on how to change the education system. No, Katie's running for Congress. We're talking about
she doesn't know where this station is. It would be difficult for her to find it.
How do we make it so that we can get experts in these fields? To your point, you want to talk about the entertainment industry? You've got guys that have been in the industry 30, 40, 50 years. There isn't anything they don't know about it. But guess what? They can't teach.
I know. Okay. So what can we do to change that, though?
You've got to lock a bunch of assemblymen and senators in a room and say, here's our issue. You get them up there to talk about, just like this crazy thing they were going to do with changing the start time in the mornings.
Yes.
All right? And you have parents going, yeah, but kids think better. Great. So now everything has to be shoved, in time. You want us to watch your child an extra hour, or are you going to hang out and go to work later? Then we have to change bus schedules, sports schedules. Nobody thought of all of that. And thank God, out of my mouth, thank God Jerry Brown went, what are you guys, nuts? Yeah. And he vetoed it.
Okay.
So, see, I gave a Democrat credit for doing something.
Good job.
I want that on
I
the
think
record.
he's the best friend the Republicans ever had. He's been a Republican in policy there because of everything else there.
I hear he's the most conservative guy up there, which is scary.
It is scary. It is scary.
So, okay. All right.
But we're now talking local. I've also heard that, there's the idea that we're not doing enough in the mental health area. Obviously, we have the opiate crisis. We have other issues.
I was intrigued with Bob Jensen.
But we have one of the most intensive, rigorous programs that exist in this state.
Did Bob tell you that, first of all, it's an unfunded mandate to us. It added $6 million to our bottom line. Do you know that? It took $6 million out of the classroom because the state no longer gives us money for that.
Yep.
But we never stopped servicing those kids. It was a decision of the board to say, okay, that might hurt us, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to continue on with these services. We're going to hire the counselors we need to hire, adding more to the bottom line for us. And then we're going to go look for federal funds, federal grants, state grants that could reimburse us for some of this.
Okay, so how hard is that process?
Well, all right, I want you to think about something. We're already short-staffed in a lot of areas. Now we have to put somebody to sit behind the desk, look for the stuff, fill out the paperwork, and try to get those grants. Okay? It's another job for somebody to do 24/7. And that money, when it comes to education, it's like running through molasses in the wintertime. It is slow, it's tough, it can be done, but it takes a long time to do.
Okay, now that's one of my biggest criticisms whenever I have this kind of socialism versus capitalism, free market versus central planning argument with some of the more, outspoken leftists on my program. And I do tell them, like, for liberal reasons, if you love your kids and you want education to, be able to adapt as quickly as technology is, you can't have a super hyper bureaucratic system like the one you're describing.
Right.
However, on the same token, I hold capitalist feet to the fire because all the time they're wanting lower taxes, they're wanting easier this, they're wanting easier that. I'm like, yeah, we gave you that tax break. And then look what you did with it. You bought a Ferrari instead of turning around.
Don't get me started on where they go.
And I mean, look at what Toys R Us did. Hold on, let me finish. So here's my question.
Okay, go ahead.
This is my question: is I like knowing the reality of the situation because I understand the theory of the situation is that if we ease the tax burden and ease the bureaucratic burden, it, in theory, would be easier to get private money. To supplement this kind of thing. In your experience, which has been easier to get funding?
Marijuana.
Well, hold on a second. In your experience, what has been easier on the Hart board to get money for these mental health case kids? Has been easier to sit somebody grant money.
Grant money.
So do you feel better then about slightly higher taxes with more grants out there, or easing burdens of taxes in hoping of getting it?
This is the problem. It's real simple, and people are just going to start laughing. I don't trust our government. Period. I don't trust them with more money. Here's the joke. Jerry Brown says that he balanced the budget. We got a surplus.
Yeah, he balanced it by raising taxes on our backs.
No.
Yeah.
He sent a whole bunch of unfunded mandates down to us, the school district.
Yeah, I paid him. The Ladder Safety Act, they tripled our bond.
You're still paying your taxes, and I'm scrounging to pay for mental health care for the kids that we're forced to take care of, and I have no problem taking care of them. It's just getting out of hand when it looks like we're the ones that are the bad guys, and we are scrambling to get things done.
No, I get that, but I just want to. Something's not computing in my mind.
But one last thing with you though, when you got your
this is what happens when you have two radio hosts.
I know, right? Go ahead. It's your show. Go for it.
Is the well, you just said that it's easier to get grant money.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you turn around and you say, okay, but I don't want to give that extra tax revenue to our government because I don't trust them.
Right.
I get you can have two simultaneous thoughts, but if you are in the
those
business,
aren't competing thoughts.
No, I get that in a certain way.
We can only get the money via grant money. We can't, and the grant money doesn't always come from the government. Remember, it comes from other organizations.
Can't you say like Pfizer? Dude, Pfizer. You know what I'm saying? Come up here, pay our teacher.
Listen, when we do construction, when we go after construction management and that kind of stuff for the schools, we go after grant money to where? We don't go to the government. We go to Lowe's. We go to Home Depot. We go to the Carpenters Union. Those are places we look for money. You got to know where to look for it. And to your point earlier, if I put somebody on full time and say, here's the grants you have to go over in the next quarter, and here's what I work with, that would work. But again, it's another person we have on the payroll. It's another person to watch over.
So now I've got a really interesting question for you that has
10
to
seconds
do
to answer, right?
with it. No, we're going to do this on the other side of the break. I'm going to ask you a little bit about the. I have a big problem with a lot of these. You have to remember, I'm the 25-year son of now a 30-year veteran of the Saugus Unified School District.
Okay.
It bothers me that every 5 to 10 years, Houghton Mifflin comes out with a new test that shows that all our kids are failing, but if you buy our ergonomic pencils, new textbooks, and our desks, then they won't be failing anymore. And we consistently, as a Department of Education, buy into this junk. Yeah. So on the other side of that, we're going to talk about it. This is Problem Solver Politics. It is 8:48.
Daily Imprints is the premier one-stop shop for custom embroidery, screen printing, and promotional products in the Santa Clarita Valley. Owners Joe and Dana have provided KHTS with quality embroidered company shirts for over 3 years. If it's new business cards or promotional products you need to enhance your image, Daily Imprints is the choice for you. Located on Lyons Avenue, stop by or call today, 661-678-0508.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-296-1334. 800-296-1334. 800-296-1334. That's 800-296-1334.
KHTS. Now FM, 98.1 FM, and AM 1220, your hometown station.
Hi, we're back in the studio here at KHTS, live talking problem solver politics. I'm your host, Cardon Ellis. We're with Mark Murphy and Joe Messina in the studio talking about his incumbency, if that's a word. He's running back again for the Hart High School Board. Now, I posed you a question before the commercial break. A common frustration of mine with just education on a national level, with the Department of Education on a state level, is I am a huge capitalist, but I loathe crony capitalism. Okay, people don't realize this, but oxygen that we breathe is O2, and ozone that will kill us is O3. I mean, you are only one oxygen particle away at any given time from being poisoned to death by the atmosphere we breathe, all right? So I noticed that capitalism, free markets, they've lifted more people out of poverty and can lift more people out of poverty than any other system humankind has ever come up with. I really believe that 500 years from now, we will look back at socialism, whether it's democratic socialism, communism, whatever, however you want to wrap it, we will look back at it and laugh in the same way that we laugh about doctors that did bloodletting and used leeches in the Middle Ages, okay? We'll laugh at the people that gave arsenic as a common cold remedy, okay? Now, with that
You're talking about the Republicans and the top 2% that are living on the clouds because everybody else is living on the poison planet and are almost dead or working as serfs and slaves. It'll be a great system for that top 2%. I'm looking forward to being up there.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Mark. Yeah, anyway.
Just got to keep them grounded.
Mark, you give me some subjects for my show tomorrow night.
Yeah, I got to keep them grounded. Got to keep them grounded.
So I believe we will look back, and that's not to say that liberals don't have a good point. I mean, the idea of advocating for the voiceless, advocating for the defenseless is a noble endeavor. I just happen to believe the free market can help those people and private organizations can help them more than government can. But here's my question. I've noticed that under the banner of capitalism, so much crony capitalism happens that is truly just as toxic as that O3 is. And oftentimes it comes in the form of either protection, national security, or education. Education is an excuse to waste a lot of money and make a lot of crony capitalists very rich.
Okay.
And I noticed, well, hold on, let me give you an example. Before we went to the commercial break, I'd said, I hate it where it seems like in education, my poor mother has had to go through Common Core, had to go through the big change in the 80s.
He's going to get me killed.
Through the No Child Left Behind Act.
He's going to give you 1 minute, too.
It's like every 5 years, some big corporation that works in education comes up with some new test that proves that, this demographic you didn't even know existed 6 months ago now is failing and is a scar upon your record. But, don't worry. We've got a special book for them. And if you buy 10,000 of them, they won't be failing all of a sudden. And we will retest you. Okay. We'll retest you to prove that they're not failing, while they're getting rid of the only tests that actually matter.
All right, you keep bringing up like LAUSD stuff. We don't do that at the Hart District. Yeah, we do change things. Yeah, we haven't bought new books like in 10 years because it's not in the budget. That's number one.
So you don't like giving
But
your
when you
children
talk
the
about,
materials?
we don't. Yeah, we don't like our kids. We want to make sure that they still read about the horse and buggy.
Old books,
right? I mean, yeah, the old books are the best. Now, but to your point, you're right. I mean, think of the lobbyists that these companies have, and you look at LAUSD. They go up to the state and they get all kinds of money from the state. They have tens of lobbyists up there fighting all the time for money. So every time something new comes out, where do you think the book companies go? They know LASD has the money, so they go there. They don't come to us. We don't have the money. We don't buy books like that. We're just starting to buy new books now. We've just authorized the first round of books, but we have the Google. I keep forgetting their names.
Chromebooks.
The Chromebooks. I'm not a big Google fan. That's why.
Yeah, we're one of the wealthiest cities in the area. We have all of these very wealthy capitalists up here. All these parents.
But we have
affording
$2,000 less per year per student, though, right?
Well, we have
that was the other thing.
$600,000 homes that we're now getting into for starter homes. I mean, we're in a situation here where I'm going. Are we going to put
don't we get
money
sued
in
by
That's
LAUSD?
That's not. Well, no.
Because we used to get sued by LAUSD for our summer money.
There's some
didn't we?
things that they, but to his point a second ago with the housing thing, and you're right. You know, it's expensive housing. But listen, guys, let's be honest about this. And this is where the bleeding heart thing comes, as opposed to the capitalist, if you would. You can't have clean streets. You can't have a clean city. You can't have great schools in an area where every house is $154,000. It doesn't happen.
True,
and
you have to have taxes to be able to pay for it. So every time you cut taxes,
I'm okay. Nah.
Oh, bro, we are over 54.3% on taxes for the wealthy. Come on.
We can have some fun with this because when I had 19 employees with Wildcat, see, I had skin in the game, and I'll tell you this. Yeah, there are companies when they start making more money, they buy more Rollses and more houses. And then there's guys like me and guys all through this valley. You know, there's a bunch of small business owners like you guys. Yeah. You start to make money, and what do? You either give raises to the people you have, or you bring on somebody else. Sure. You bring on another person because you love the community.
85% of the company, 85% of the people employed in the United States of America are employed by small business, and small business is notoriously generous to its employees.
And I'll tell you something we do.
We give the big tax cuts and all the big tax breaks to the big corporations. So what's consistently what we do. But what are you?
But that's a federal level. Let's get to the local level.
For education locally?
All right.
How are we going to take
So here's
care
the
of
other
these
thing
kids?
here's the other thing that I love. You know, you brought it up, and it's so true. When it comes to money, first of all, we got some of the best teachers in the state in this. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a trustee on the board. I know these teachers. They have called me and I've gone to see what they were putting up with. They're great teachers, right? You know what we get in reality? We get about $6,000 to $6,500 per child per year to educate. I want you to think about that, all right? New Jersey, one of the worst school districts in the country, gets $27,000 per student.
Whoa, we're doing it on less than a third?
So, but that's not the point. The point is, if you have to keep re-educating your kids, if you have to keep replacing your books, if you have a 70% dropout rate, of course it costing you all kinds of money. We don't have that here. We have teachers that care. We have district employees that care. We have businesses that care. You think, Teachers Tribute every year. Who funds that? The businesses in town that fund that to show the teachers we love them, we care about them, and we want to hold them up in high
Okay, so now I got a
esteem.
question for you. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, wow, that's a phenomenal stat. In a very leftist state like New Jersey, they're allocating
Chicago,
27,000.
New Jersey. I go down the whole list.
Okay, so what's keeping us, California?
New Jersey. Wow, that was a cool.
So whose job is it in this state that now takes over a majority of your wealth if you make over $250,000? Whose job is it to make it so that instead of us trying to survive off $6,000 per student per year, because we're not that different from New Jersey. Why aren't we going up there and saying, hey, we need 12 grand, we need 15 per kid? Whose job is that?
Right.
Joe Messina's or somebody else's?
Wait a minute. First of all, to your point, you're exactly right. But he had a Democratic legislature that wouldn't let him move. Same thing if Cox gets in up here. I tell people all the time, I'd be excited if Cox became governor, but he'd be useless. Don't show up for work. You can't get any help from the
he would
legislature.
be useless in
right?
the sense of a veto
So as
power.
far as
It's a wasted vote if you vote for Cox. It really is.
All right. So as far as
or Dante, but
all right.
there's
Gavin Newsom is a better-looking Donald Trump. All right, when it comes to morality.
But my point to what you were saying, okay, how do you get more money? It's almost impossible. You have to get the legislature to decide they're going to come up with a different way to come up with the calculations to give money to the different schools. They said it. We don't. We can beg all we want. We don't get the extra money.
So
and frankly,
we need
our problem
better
is
guys up there lobbying.
And yes, we do. Santa Clarita, we're not considered a socioeconomically challenged district. So we have to fight 10 times as hard to get any extra money. Right. It's wrong. We should be rewarded for the job we do with our kids.
All right. Okay. So, asking for your vote, Joe Messina running for the Hart School Board. You seem like a great guy, Joe.
Look at what I've done on the board. That's why I tell people, you get past all the garbage and the noise, and look what I've done on the board, and look what I've done in the community, and then place your vote.
Creative technology.
All right. Awesome. This is Problem Solving.